Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. The headline news today comes from Fabrizio Romano, and it's that Everton are in advanced talks to sign Malick Fofana from Olympique Lyon. Bid submitted and clubs are in talks. Everton are in discussions on personal terms with Fofana. Before we go into everything about this has been the big news story of today that has come out about Fofana. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through all the stories about Fofana right now before we actually talk about him. Paul Joyce reported that Everton are targeting Lyon's Malick Fofana as one of the two wingers they want to sign. Terms are not yet agreed with Lyon. Paddy Boyland reported that Everton are in talks to sign Lyon's Malick Fofana. Both clubs remain in discussions over a transfer fee, while Everton are nearing an agreement with Fofana's camp. Hugo Guillemette then said that Everton have made a €36 million bid with add-ons for Fofana. Negotiations are ongoing. Lyon are demanding a minimum of €40 million as a fixed base amount. Fofana is already discussing his contract with Everton. And then Sasha Tavolieri reported that Everton are keen to increase their bid of Malick Fofana from their initial €36 million offer. Fofana's entourage is in contract talks with Everton. And then the usual crap about he wants to play Champions League football. So does every footballer. Congratulations, So to get on to a little bit about Fofana here, I think this would be an absolute fantastic signing. 20 years old, and if we're going off his total game time, including Liga and Europa League, he played around 2,000 minutes of football last season, just a little bit over that. In what is 39 games, a lot of substitute appearances, not many starts. I'll tell you now actually. In Liga only 16 starts last season in Liga, but in that time he got 11 goals. 2,000 minutes, I believe it averages out to around 22 games. I think, again, did this when it came up on the group chat, I worked out a little bit. And then add on the 5 assists, 16 goal contributions in around 22 games worth of football. Fantastic, really direct player. Dribbling numbers are through the roof. He's in the top 2% of all European wingers and attacking midfielders for progressive carries, with almost 7 a game, which is ridiculous. Again, a dribbling phenom, really young, still works reasonably hard defensively from what I'm seeing. He's being given comparisons to players like Mitoma, Pedro Neto, Madueke, of course Anthony Gordon, who used to play for us. But looks like a really, really good player. I think €40 million euros will end up being about £40 million with add-ons. Is a bit of a steal. Not a bit of a steal, it's a big price, but at 20 years old with that much talent, if we are able to cement ourselves as a European contender in 2 or 3 years, I could easily see us selling him on for 60, 70, 80 million. If he gets to the level he could get at, where he shows, maybe even more. But hopefully this is one where by the end of the day, expect more stories to come out about this. Hopefully this is one by maybe the end of today, even at some point tomorrow, we can see a nice little deal done. €40 million plus add-ons. Fantastic signing. And speaking of fantastic signings, let's start with the report from Bild about the Adamo saga. Bayern Munich fullback Adamo has handed in a transfer request. Everton are among the teams interested. It remains unclear what terms Bayern would be willing to let him leave. Paddy Boyland then reported that Everton have made progress over a deal over AZNOU. A potential €9 million fee is being discussed. Still work to do on the deal. And then Fabrizio Romano reported Adamo to Everton. Here we go. Agreement done and clubs exchanging documents for the left back to join Everton. Initial fee worth €9 million plus €3 million in add-ons. Medical will take place in the next 24 or 48 hours. Mentioned this in the last news video. We do have a bit more context now in AZNOU. I did mention that he's really good defensively. I think it was for 5 major defensive stats. AZNOU actually ranked first in La Liga for all left backs. His successful dribble numbers were really good, and from what I've read, he is actually more of an attacking fullback, but of course played for a really bad Real Valladolid side. So showed more of his defensive prowess, and he looks like a real talent. 19, really cheap fee. The sort of player we should be looking at in a backup role. Someone who could really develop. And what I'm seeing from a lot of Bayern fans and some more analytically based things, there's a lot of talks that Adamo could be a top left back, not in European football, and someone to get for that cheap. A lot of places are saying they won't be surprised if in a season's time we're getting €40-50 million bids for him. If he is that good, I'm really excited. Not too sure yet, but I think this is a really, really good deal to get for someone who's still only 19 years old. Now, moving on to we've got a little Paul Joyce section. Everton are interested in Southampton's Tyler Dibbling. We ran a poll on the Twitter at Everton Newsfeed if you ever want to participate in any of the votes. Tyler Dibbling to Everton, leave us your thoughts. This received 4,122 votes, so thank you to everyone that did vote, where 74% of the fans said that they would take him, 19% of the fans said that they're unsure, and the final 7% said that they would not. I'm indifferent about Dibbling now because of the Fofana deal. I think Fofana showed more in his time last season for Lyon, and I know the Liga isn't nearly as strong as the Premier League, but in the Europa League was where he arguably stood out the most. Dibbling started off really well, and I think he just tailed off towards the end of the season. I know he played for a really bad Southampton side, but if I'm being completely honest, I think Dibbling may need another season in the Championship or with a lower Premier League side, and for £40 million, I'd prefer someone like a Kubo or something, you know, someone who's got the experience playing football, maybe not in the Premier League, but Dibbling's only got one season where he was in and out. You know, it's like, I like Dibbling, I think he's going to be really, really good, but for example, I'd much rather have a Fofana, a Takefusa Kubo, who is in his next report, someone like that. I think it's just, I know Fofana's much closer to the Dibbling thing in terms of age, but I think Fofana's more proven already. Yeah, I just think Dibbling would be a really good signing. I'd be happy if we got it done, but I don't think he has that electricness, if that makes sense. That's what like a Fofana has, which I think is something we desperately need, to be honest with you. I think Dibbling feels a bit like a McNeil to me, if that makes sense, maybe compared to like an Illiman and Dye. Like I mentioned, Paul Joyce also reported Everton's interest in he did report, that Everton's interest in the Real Sociedad winger Takefusa Kubo stalled due to Sociedad's asking price. I am guessing that's why then the Fofana stuff did come out. And then that Everton lost out on their first choice option, Francisco Coensao, who joined Juventus from Porto for £26.5 million. No surprise, he was on loan at Juventus. That was always going to happen. Moving on to some outgoings, midfielder Jensen Metcalf has today completed a permanent transfer from Everton to League One side Bradford City for an undisclosed fee. Good luck, Jensen. Bradford City are my local team, so I'll be keeping my eye on Jensen. They really need a defensive midfielder, so this looks like it's one where he's going to slot straight into maybe starting 11. Hopefully he can do really well for him. I haven't seen much of Metcalf, but from what I've read, he's a talented young lad, and yeah, hopefully we can see hopefully I'll see a lot of him at Bradford City, and hopefully some good steps for him. Speaking of some under-21s news, Everton's under-21s goalkeeper Fraser Barnsley signed a new contract with the club, signing with the club until the end of June 2027. Congratulations, Fraser. Moving on to the next bit of news, at the Men in Blazers press event at the Men in Blazers event last night in New York, David Moyes said that he wants 9 new players by the end of the transfer window. A lot of speculation going on that 3 of those have already been accounted for in Alcaraz. I forgot who we signed. Alcaraz. Who have we signed? Alcaraz, Barry, and Tyra, Travers, and then of course the new names, so Adam AZNOU, and so the rumour is 6 new signings. If AZNOU and Fofana come in, I expect more loans, then maybe 2 or 3 loans, and then maybe a free transfer. But it's really promising to hear that we want to bring in more players, because it's something we desperately need. Our squad's ridiculously thin right now, even if we get AZNOU and Fofana in. And then the last bit of it's not news, but it's just tonight is the Bournemouth game. I believe it kicks off at 9 p.m. We should have a reaction and a ratings video out after the game or tomorrow, so keep tuned onto the channel. And that is all for this video. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Everton Newsfeed, and follow myself on Twitter at Callum Brannan3. And I'll see you all for the next video and or live stream that I am on.